It is 20 years since disability was legally recognized as a human rights agenda in the country.
20 years ago, a person born with disability was killed at birth because of the stigma associated with disability. In Masailand, that person is given cholesterol as a fast food so that it will coalesce in the stomach. This child die of hunger. In Samburu, the child born with disability will be given water mixed with sniffing tobacco to perforate the intestine so that this child die because it was stigma to have a person with disability.
And through the years, efforts have been put to ensure that there is an ease on barriers to ensuring and enhancing rights for persons living with disability.
Like my form of disability is more of a built environment. We have ramps, we have accessible public transport, we have, public amenities suited, for this person to freely engage in a society. If someone is blind, it's more of access to information and communication.
Monica Mudhoni, for instance, was in an accident 13 years ago together with her brother and parents. Her brother and her father succumbed, while for her, she is now living with disability.
Kwa accident akimia nikapata spine injury, but brother yangu hakusurvive. Alipata internal bleeding, so alipass on the way akaenda hospitali.
Her mother too, who survived, is now blind and deaf.
Kwa na pressure ya macho, hivyo ndio daktari alisema. Kutoka sasa hapo kuendelea tu hapo ni kokogisa. Mashida ikawa ni mingi. Kutoka 2021 hapo ndio naye masikio ilianza kuenda.
According to the 2019 census, around 900,000 Kenyans live with different forms of disability. However, due to stigmatization and discrimination, most persons with disability have not registered with the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, making it hard to account for all persons.
This April, we have scaled the number of beneficiaries from 1.2 million to 1.7 million. I'm happy to report that by next month, we shall increase the number of beneficiaries from 67,000 to 100,000 for cash transfer program for persons with severe disabilities.
Unlike many years ago when children born with disability were killed and those who lived were hidden, now persons living with disability have been provided for ways to ensure they live a normal life.
And then we also support, persons with disability in the country with assistive devices, like wheelchairs, crutches, prostheses, You can imagine me without a wheelchair, how life could be. But if you don't use it, it's just a small piece of metal. It's a leg of someone, the crutches.
And through the Council for Persons Living with Disability, 40,000 students are able to go to school, as well as many others who have access to Presidential Bursary Fund,
which we provide 30,000 per year for anybody who is disabled and who is not able to cater for the school fees.
We give free grants, to students who are accessing TVETs, universities, and other vocational training, and full scholarship to those who are in secondary school.
A major setback in ensuring and upholding of rights of persons living with disability has been in the employment space, where out of nearly 250,000 workforces in the country, less than 4,000 are for persons with disability. This translates to less than 2% of the required 5% employment requirement for persons living with disability.
That's where the National Council came up with career portal, NCPD career portal, where we made it mandatory for all public sectors to advertise through there, and then for job seekers with disability to register there. And that portal of ours, we have more than 6,000 job seekers with disabilities there.
And now, with a change from NHIF to SHA, the Ministry, the Department of Social Protection, and the Council for Persons Living with Disability are ensuring that these people are not left out in access to health services.
We have worked very, very closely. The officers from the Ministry of Health were here, and I gave them my team for social protection, such that we make our data interoperable with theirs.
Some disability require medical attention all through. And the commitment of this government is 100% universal health coverage for persons with disabilities. And the reform under SHA from NHIF includes that now, that if someone with disability presents himself and is registered, he need to get his wheelchair through that cover. She need to get, her hearing aids through that cover.
To this end, a call has been made to stakeholders and the society at large to ensure rights of persons living with disability are upheld.
Let us take care of the people living with disabilities. They are human beings like myself and any other person. And I want to say that anybody is a potential disabled person.
I was not born with disability. My disability is through road accident. And now that we are going on a festivity season also, let's be very careful on our roads. Because many times we only hear people get injured, others dying, but no one tells us how many got maimed for life, and what does that mean if it comes to that family, that individual, and the nation. Because disability is an expensive lifestyle.
Robbie Omondi, K24.